Hello everyone, it's Zortrider here and welcome to another video. And it's that time of the year again, isn't it? It's that time of the year when we all sit back and reflect on what we spent all our money on this year and what were our best purchases. And this particular video is looking at a real 2020 passion of mine, something that I really started to get into this year, and it is the Black Series. When I was a lot younger, I was into Power of the Force 2 and I kind of put that section of my life behind me. But getting back into the Black Series late in 2019 has meant a year where there's been a plethora of figures I've picked up. But in this particular video, I'm going to count down the top 10 figures that were actually released in 2020. Not the ones that I've bought. Well, I have bought them because they're in my collection. But I'm discounting any of the older figures. But I am going to give a shout out to some honourable mentions that really would have been in this list if they were released this year, if that makes sense. Now, let's start off with some vehicles and some exclusive sets, and I didn't want to include these within the top 10 simply because they'd be right up there knocking everything out the park when it's actually a little bit unfair. So first and foremost, the Snowspeeder. We got an amazing vehicle this year. I absolutely love it. It's a centerpiece of my Star Wars display, just sitting over here, and I think it's lovely. I think that there could have been some stronger landing gear on there. I think that's my only criticism, and the cockpit tabs in very, very tight, quite difficult to get out. It's nice to have a DAC figure as well. So it was lovely to see that. I need to shout out as well the Heroes of Endor set, something that I bought on a whim, to be honest with you. I went to buy the Transformers Quintus on Pit of Judgment, couldn't get one, but then noticed that this was in stock, and I bought it, and then I ended up with a pit anyway, so it didn't really matter. But this set is stunning, really, really nice. My first real experience of the speeder bike, which is great. It's got some great individual figures in as well. But those have been released now in the main line, so you can get hold of most of those. So yeah, even though there is an exclusive figure in my top 10 list, it also got a mainstream release. And I just thought that these two items were too big and too much of a perfect package in order to put into the top 10. But they are great items nevertheless. So let's go into some honourable mentions now of figures that came out in 2019 or before, but actually I didn't actually pick up to this year, and you can see the three of them here. It is, of course, Mace Windu, which was a figure I was looking at and nearly bought in 2019, and I missed the boat, and then he was restocked, and I absolutely love him. I think he's great. Not massively into the prequels, but you got to love a Samuel L. Jackson figure, haven't you? It's a great likeness of him as well. Now, the original Mandalorian figure, I missed out on the pre-order of this in 2019. I didn't actually get it, I think, until February, March 2020. This figure is beautiful, really, really nice. Really like how it can strike a pose. If I'm honest with you, out the box, I think it's better than the Bastila one, but we'll get into that hopefully a little bit later, or will we? We don't know. And Boba Fett. Now, I could have played it a little bit sneaky because this figure actually got a Empire Strikes Back carded release this year, but this particular one is an archive figure that was released back in 2019. Massive fan of Boba Fett. I love that he's got this resurrection in The Mandalorian, and you know what? Absolutely great figure. Now, moving on. Let's talk about the worst, shall we? And here's four of them, just to show you. These were all released this year. So let's start off with a probe droid. It just doesn't do a lot for me. I know a lot of people have said this should be in the top 10 figures. For me, it just stands there and doesn't do that much. I'm happy I have it. It's a nice background display piece, but is it a figure worth the money in its own right? Probably not. I would have liked to maybe have had in a 2-pack with a soldier or sort of snow trooper or something like that. But never mind. It's not bad, but you know what? It still was lacking something, and that's why I've put it in this section here. IG-11, one of my favourite characters from the first season of The Mandalorian, and this figure looks brilliant, but it won't stand up. He won't stand up. And actually, during the summer, his legs warped and bent, and I had to reset them by heating them up. And yeah, so even though this figure looks great, you can't get a pose out of him, and he falls on its rear end every 2 minutes. This R2-D2, this is the Empire Strikes Back edition, so it was released this year. The paintwork's on it's a little bit sloppy, and it's too small. I've got a Bandai model kit version that I built at some point this year, I think it was. Or it might have been last year. And it's brilliant, and it's the right scale. These Astromechs now are too small, and I really, really hope that Hasbro give us a newer edition of the Astromech mould. And then finally, probably the worst figure we've all bought this year, but we had to have it. This Hanning Carbonite, I think this cost me 30 quid, and it's just a hollow lump of plastic, and it isn't the best at all. But a bit like the Probe Droid, for the background piece, for a display piece, it's great, but as an action figure, it's really not the best, in my opinion. So, funny thing is, up until I filmed that bit, I still hadn't got my top 10. And, yeah, I'd actually taken all the photos of the figures I knew were going to be in the top 10. But there were 11 of them, so there was one that was missing out. So I'm just going to let you know what that one was. It was the Zuckuss and Forlom 2-pack. So this is essentially 11th in my top 10 list. I know this is a bit silly, but all these other figures, these were the ones I wrote down, the ones that I absolutely wanted to be in the list, and it just so happens that there's 11 of them, so I suppose it's a last honourable mention. So it was the 2-pack where they appeared on the misnamed cards, which was quite cool. But yeah, so I suppose that's another cheeky honourable mention, or if you want to be technical, 11th place in the list. But now into the top 10, and here is a figure. It is the first of this species we've had in the Black Series, and hopefully we'll get many more. It's Teebo, our first Ewok, and I absolutely love how it looks. It is a great, great figure, and it well deserves to be in this top 10. So in 9th place, we have Snowspeeder Luke Skywalker. The posability on this thing, despite all of the belts and everything on it, detail, the paint on the helmet, the fact you can take his helmet off, he comes with a lightsaber, he's a great companion piece to the Snowspeeder. It's absolutely brilliant, and I really, really like this figure, and I would have liked to have put it higher up on this top 10, but there are some amazing, amazing figures in front of him. Number 8 is Count Dooku, the first prequel figure on this list, and I think it's actually the only one on this list. And you know what? It's because it does it better than any other version of Christopher Lee. There's the SH Figure Arts version and all that, but this nails the likeness. It's poseable. I like the soft goods. I think everything about this figure is amazing, and it deserves to be in the top 10. At 7th place, we have Cad Bane. A figure and a character I know absolutely nothing about. I know he's from the Clone Wars. A figure I bought on the whim, just because I was going to collect something for my son, and I saw him in stock, and I thought, why the hell not? And it's brilliant. I don't need to know anything about this character to tell you that this is a cool figure, and done exceptionally well. What an amazing, amazing figure. This is the standard retail release, but you can get him in a 2-pack. That's kind of an exclusive. But yeah, Cad Bane is number 7 on this list, and he's a great, great figure. Give him a try if you haven't. Now, in 6th place is a figure that wouldn't have made the top 10 if I didn't do a little bit of work on it myself. It's the Beskar Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, in my opinion, is the best thing that's happened to Star Wars since the original trilogy. That's just my opinion. And I think, actually, in some respects, it has saved Star Wars from some of the recent films that we've seen. However, this figure was one I was really looking forward to. But actually, when it turned up, it had a paint smudge on the face, and the plastic cape on it was absolutely awful. So what I've done, and I've done a video on this if you want to take a look, is I've made a custom cape with some pipe cleaners and some spare material that looks really, really good. And I've touched up the paint on his face, and I've also thrown in Grogu in there as well, because I think that actually Grogu should have come as an accessory with this figure, and it's just typical that we've ended up with a deluxe version coming out. I think is it out this year? It's due to be released this year anyway. But for me now, with these amendments, and it is this massive caveat that I've done some work on it myself, it is the Beskar Mandalorian. In 5th place now is a group of figures, but they all share the same mould. It is the new Trooper mould. Now you can see the Flame Trooper here, the standard Stormtrooper, and the Remnant Worn Stormtrooper from the Mandalorian. All of these are from the Mandalorian line, and it's a great mould. I've got one of the original Black Series Star Wars Stormtrooper figures. I don't know why I said Star Wars then. But these are phenomenal, so much better, a great mould, and yeah, really like them. Tempted to pick up a few more, to be honest. Okay, so now in 4th place is a 2-pack, the first 2-pack on this list, and it is the Chewbacca and C-3PO Empire Strikes Back 2-pack. Now, I checked, because I thought this one was 2019, it actually was released in 2020. According to the sources and the websites I looked at anyway. I didn't actually get this until later on in the year because I missed the boat first time round. And this is the best Chewbacca we've got, and it's the best C-3PO we've got. And it's the way you can take C-3PO apart and put it in the backpack. I think that is really cool. It's a great figure. A high recommend from me. And yeah, deserves to be in this list, absolutely. In 3rd place now is an exclusive, but you know what? This one wasn't too hard to come by, and it's got a standard release anyway, which is just as good. It is the Mandalorian Armourer. I absolutely love this figure. I know the exclusive version has the fur hood, which I think does add to it, but I've seen the plastic one, and that looks okay as well. It still comes with some cool accessories, so that's why I've allowed this one in this list. I think it's an amazing figure with some beautiful paintwork. And you know what? I'm all in on this Mandalorian. Give me more Mandalorian characters, please. They are absolutely stunning. So the Armourer, great figure. Pick one up, either the standard release or the exclusive if you can get your hands on it. This figure needs to be in your collection. And now we are in to the top 2. Drum roll. 2nd place is another 2-pack, and it's a 2-pack that is actually being reduced everywhere at the moment. It's a Dagobah, Luke and Yoda 2-pack. Now, I didn't have a Yoda figure to light. I had the Ghost version, but I was hanging on for this particular figure, and I paid full price for it, and I think you can get it now for like 25-30 quid. It's brilliant. It's a great version of Luke. It's an amazing version of Yoda with 2 heads. You get the backpack, you get a lightsaber, you get a gun, you get all of these things. And you can do the handstand if you can get him to balance on one hand. It's a great set. It's probably the best looking Mark Hamill we have had. And yeah, I'm really happy to have it. And finally, in 1st place, an army builder. A figure so good I actually bought it twice. It is the Hoth Rebel Soldier. This figure does not have the right to be at the top of any Star Wars list each year. This figure isn't a character. It's a group of characters. And the thing is with Stormtroopers, they're faceless, so you can kind of accept that you can army build them. This is the first time Hasbro gave us multiple options, different faces, different looks. And it works as an action figure. It is absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love it, and I love the fact that it's a no one as well. I love the fact it's not a Luke or a well-known character. I love the fact it's a background character done oh so well. Hasbro have done an amazing job, and in my opinion, the Hoth Rebel Trooper is the best Black Series figure released in 2020. So, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? It's all a game of opinions, isn't it? There are some stunning figures that I haven't put on this list. So I hope you have enjoyed it anyway. It's a bit of fun, isn't it, at the end of the year? I will be doing a top Transformers of 2020 as well. And I might do another year in review or another top list. I don't know, because I have bought some other toys other than Star Wars and Transformers. Yeah, until next time. I've been Zort Rider, and may the force be with you.